love grotesque and weird aesthetics. So when I first saw Golden Light, I needed to play it. I was enamored with the style. But after having tried the game, I can't help but say it's wasted potential. Developed by Mr. Pink, Golden Light was released as early access in July 2020 with the full release on March 11, 2022. And that's all I could find on its development. There's so much to love about it, but as a game, it fails conceptually. But again, it's the aesthetics that make the game. It has such a style that speaks and resonates with me. I love how dank and ominous it feels, and while playing, I get a sense of dread. There's so much personality that went into the enemy variety and the dungeon. And for me, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I expected a game with a linear story that would be brazen and would have become bizarre the further I progressed, and I got that, but not in the traditional sense. When it comes to the story, it should have been simple but sweet. Instead, the story follows a nameless character who's trying to save her, but the relationship is off, something is missing, and while that's a great hook, the progression is terrible. I never felt like I was expanding on the story or learning new lore pieces that would have altered my way of thinking. Instead, Golden Light is a poor man's Silent Hill with only the ambiguous dialogue with the most obvious plot. It's rather strange. That said, what is interesting is the gut, the dungeon you find yourself in. It's a dank and disgusting place where everything is made out of meat. The weapons, the items, the enemies you fight. You can also eat to gain buffs or debuffs, and within the gut you'll find mobs or creatures who can be friendly or hostile towards you and can help you with gaining new weapons or allowing you to buy keys. And to use these services, you need to find gold that's scattered around, or you can kill mobs who drop gold. But if you do this, the gut becomes angry, and this is what I absolutely love about the game. The gut is a living being. Every action you take has a consequence. The gut doesn't want you to kill, but sooner or later you will, and this is also where the game starts falling apart. I did kill everything, as progressing through the gut is a chore. What you might first find is a fascinating and complex labyrinth with a plethora of interesting creatures, but that soon turns into boredom when you realize what you have to do. Playing safe and going slow holds the game back. Inside the gut, keys are hidden throughout each level. The deeper you descend, the larger the floors, and the more keys you'll need to descend further. And that wouldn't be so much of an issue if the key placements or rooms were handcrafted. Instead, the floors are randomly generated and the key of each level changes each time. So trying to play it slow and stealthily sucks ass. I once spent 40 minutes trying to find the exit only to die and have my run ruined because it was hidden somewhere. I even had a map and that didn't help. But that becomes an ongoing theme the more floors you descend. I also decided to kill because the game doesn't make sense. It wants you to avoid enemies, right? But after you find the keys, you have to rush to the exit, as the gut will then spawn infinite enemies who know exactly where you are, defeating the purpose of what it was trying to achieve. How can you avoid killing, remember randomly generate floors and layouts, avoid traps and enemies, all while they can spawn 5 feet from you to find the exit? And even when you find the exit, you go put a key in once and stand there while you put the other keys in, while the enemies are swarming you, and you could die while doing this. So it's really stupid. Plus, killing enemies isn't straightforward either. Some of them release a cloud of gas when they die, spreading negative effects like poison, gold hunger, or bone shiver. The gas doesn't just linger, it seeps into nearby rooms, damaging other enemies and sending them into a frenzy. Suddenly, you got a chain reaction of chaos, and you didn't do anything to trigger it. Combine that with the randomly generated layouts, unmarked exits, and scattered keys, and it all starts to feel like unpredicted chaos. And here's something I don't get, right? So, you know how in most roguelites where you don't know what item does and the description is vague, so after using it, you then know what it does, and during your next run, the game has a journal or something to let you know? Yeah, this game doesn't do that. So, you gain items that are vague, you eat it, you find out what the item is, you die, you saw and you run, and that same item, you don't know what the hell it is. That's so stupid. And that's pretty much all there is. I mean, there is more, such as the overworld where you die and respawn, but it's a barren wasteland with fun things to look at, but not much to do. While in the overworld, enemies and items randomly generate, so you could stay there and gain gold and get upgrades or weapons that can help you during a run, but it's boring, so I didn't do it. Also, like every roguelike, there's power ups. You find these from finding Polaroids, but every buff also has a debuff, such as when you gain a buddy, it will attack anything. So, a mob who was friendly can turn hostile when it attacks. So, you randomly might just have an enemy on you now. And that pretty much wraps up my review. There's so much to like about this game, like the audio and ambience. The game has such fantastic vibes, but I genuinely cannot fathom why you played this over other better horror games or roguelites. I will say this was an experience and one I won't forget, but I'm okay to not finishing the game. I gave up, I think, halfway through. If you give it a try, that'll be good because Mr. Pink deserves it, I think. That said, I did look up footage on the multiplayer and it's so much easier than playing solo, but my internet was down, so I couldn't try it by the time this review is out. Yeah. Alright, take care and see ya. Please like and subscribe, I guess. I don't know, you don't need to.